Willie D Live.
What's up, family? I just came across a woman on TikTok who goes by the name of Vonnie Tron. She gave perhaps the best commentary I've seen in a while in regards to black people and tipping. Check out the video, leave your comments, and I'll come back with mine.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but black people are not bad tippers. You just didn't get a tip because you assumed you weren't going to be tipped and you gave bad service. It's no secret that there's the stereotype that black people don't tip in the service industry, which is super not true. But you go over to black families and black groups assuming that they're not going to tip, so your service is automatically sub-fucking par. A black person sits in your section, or a black family, a black group sits in your section, you're already in your head, I know I'm not going to get a tip from them. So that attitude translates to how you treat them. You got an attitude, you're not personable. They got to look for you 25 times to get refills on their drinks, to get napkins. You messing up their orders and shit. You not even paying them no motherfucking mind. And then as soon as you get the check, you're like, oh, I knew I wasn't going to get a tip. You didn't get a tip because your service sucked. That's why you didn't get a tip. Black people tip all the time, especially like when we get our hair done, when we get our nails done. If the service is good, we're going to tip you. But y'all go into it with that mindset, and it translates in the way that you interact with us. That's why you don't get tips.
I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. I'm going straight to the coconuts. Family, you go into the comments of some of these videos and you check out some of the videos themselves and you see black people. Yeah, black people don't tip. Man, I used to be a waitress and da-da-da. I used to be. Let me tell you something, you dummy. Do you know of any other group of people who will go out of their way to highlight the worst part of their groups? Do you know? Do you know that is one of the reasons why your dumb ass is behind? They're already doing a great job at tainting the black image. They're doing an excellent job. They don't need your help. And now your silly ass is out here making videos talking about, yeah, black people don't tip. Black people don't tip. Well, you know, black people, they don't do good business. Well, that's why I don't be shopping black, you dumb bastard. I can't stand y'all motherfuckers. You are even worse than non-blacks who stereotype black people. Because it's got to be something in your brain, your little pissy brain, that makes you think that you're actually the exception to the rule. You think you're better. See, that's what it boils down to. You think you're better, you're self-hating, you wish you was not black. And this is why you do not care about black image. Oh, all of that talking that you be doing, that's fake. I know you. I know you. Yeah. Y'all are the worst. And be thinking you're doing something. Think you're smart. Call yourself looking down on the other blacks. You think you're better. Let me tell you something, you coconut. They look at you the same way they look at other black people. They prejudge you the same way they prejudge other black people. Your silly, dumb ass is still in that same pot, whether you like it or not. For the ones who don't want to serve black people when they come into the restaurant and give black people subpar service, they're gonna do you the same way. They're not gonna be like, oh, that's the boy who make the videos talking down on black people that don't tip. I really like him. I'm gonna treat him good, you dummy. She was right on point. She was right on point. People oftentimes who have that perception that black people don't tip, they go to the table And not just white people do this. Blacks and others, they do it too. They go to the table already with an attitude. And right then and there, people are making up their mind if they're gonna tip you good or not. Already, if you come to the table with a frown on your face, if you come to the table and you don't look polite, you don't have a kindness in your eyes, already your tip has been reduced to the minimum. That's the minimum that you might suggest on your receipt. So if the minimum is 15%, that's all your ass is getting. That's all you're gonna get. But you come in there with a good attitude, you might get 15%, you might get 30%, you might get the biggest tip that you ever got. You know how many times I've seen black people on social media being praised for giving somebody the biggest tip they've ever received? And I'm gonna tell you something too. This is something that don't get talked about enough. How black people oftentimes over-tip to offset the stereotype. Yeah, oftentimes we will over-tip because we know already what you're thinking. It's just like when a black person lives in a predominantly white neighborhood or a mixed neighborhood that's really, really nice neighborhood. A black tenant is usually going to be your best tenant. The black neighbor is usually going to be your best neighbor. You know why? Because first and foremost, they appreciate class. They appreciate, let me back up. Class is one thing, but this has nothing to do with class. They appreciate the finer things in life. They appreciate nice things. So that's why they chose that neighborhood in the first place. And so they don't want to do anything to bring the neighborhood down. They already know that y'all think, oh, there goes the neighborhood when you see a black person. So they go out of their way to be good neighbors. When I was living in a high rise in the Galleria area in Houston, do you know that there was many incidents with tenants where they came in stumbling drunk? They would come through the lobby. Like, anybody that live in a high rise know what I'm talking about. If you live in a high rise where young people are, you know what I'm talking about. I lived in a high rise where you had young and old and everything in between. But middle of the night, oh man, especially the weekends, they'd come in, falling all out in the lobby. I'm talking about sloppy drunk. Talking loud, knocking on people's doors and running. Yeah. This is in the rich area of town. This is so-called high class. And I'm not just talking about white people doing this. Others, but never, not once. I lived in that high rise for 5 years and not one time did I see black people acting the damn fool. I never saw a black person stumbling, falling drunk, getting loud, charging up the concierge. Never, not once. So that's a stereotype also. It's a negative stereotype that sticks because they've been very good at tarnishing the black image overall. The media has been very good. The government has been very good at it. And so it trickles down to the people in this country being very good at it. And when you see those stereotypes and you see when it does happen, when somebody black does act a damn fool, when somebody black doesn't tip, it's magnified more than it's magnified with any other groups because, oh, I heard about that. So it's reinforced. Keep in mind, the stereotype was invented in the first place. So Anytime it happens, whether it happens once a year or once a day or whatever, it reinforces the stereotype. You see the mass murders happening all the time. These are typically done by, young white males, right? And every time it happens, oh, he was a lone wolf. He acted alone. He was depressed. He lost his job. They find excuses to justify his behavior. Anytime it's a black person, oh, there go the 13% again. There they go again. Look at them. They're always acting like that. See, the stereotype gets reinforced. And when you ain't smart, when you're a black person and you really don't think for yourself, when you really a self-hating black person, when you a coconut, it's easy for you to accept that stereotype. And you actually think that you're doing yourself a service by talking down on your own people and reinforcing that stereotype by highlighting it, taking the social media to highlight it. You big dummy, who raised you? Who raised you? Yeah, so I appreciate this woman, and there was some other people that made videos, black people that made videos, giving their explanation as to why that negative stereotype is a fallacy. It's totally made up. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.